Oh boy, here we go. The fantasy playoffs are about to be here in all leagues, but the waiver wire stops for nobody. My name is Chris. Let's get an early look at the fantasy football waiver wire in advance of Week 14. First, we'll look at shallower league ads. As always, these percentages are how much they're owned in Yahoo leagues. And of course, who you add positionally will depend on what you need. There's nobody on this list who's an obvious starter in all 10-team leagues. But, sometimes lumpy and misshapen fantasy squads sneak into the playoffs, and you might need a jolt at your flex. Darius Geis had a huge week. He does share time with Adrian Peterson. Still, we have done Geis's film work on this channel. I like what I have seen. He gets the Packers Sunday. Deebo Samuel would be my receiver of choice. Still not really polished anywhere, route running or anything else, but just as an athlete, he is wrecking people. He scored again in Week 13. He's in the mix to be a wide receiver 3. Bo Scarborough, he gave up a couple of series to Ty Johnson for early downs on Thanksgiving. J.D. McKissick seems to be playing third downs, and I don't love the Week 14 Vikings matchup, but workload floors like Scarborough appears to have don't grow on trees, so you could flex him. Jack Doyle is the clear tight end to add and start, moving from the deeper league list to this one, as Eric Ebron is out for the year. And I have Benny Snell on here. He's Pittsburgh's goal line player, I guess. He was this past week. Has what looks like a pretty good matchup Week 14 against the Cardinals, though Jalen Samuels did play a lot last week as well. Here's a list that's a little different because as we head to the playoffs with all the bye weeks behind us, you don't really need your depth any longer. Jettison those 4th and 5th wideouts you're not going to use, those satellite backs you're not starting anyway, your backup quarterback, your backup tight end. Take a chance on one or more of these handcuff players, even if you don't own the main guy on these teams. Odds are one of these 6 teams listed here will suffer an injury at running back. Will you own the right replacement beforehand? I can't tell you that. Nobody can. But it makes sense now more than ever to own one or more of these lottery tickets. And finally, here's the preliminary list of waiver ads for deeper leagues. As always, tune into my podcast on Tuesdays to get the fully updated waiver list after the Monday night game. But this should get us most of the way there. I will talk Darwin Thompson film in a moment. Zach Pascal had a big game with no T.Y. Hilton. We've done film work on him earlier in November. I'm a fan. He'd be my favorite of the potential deeper league plug-and-play receivers, Week 14 against the Buccaneers. But James Washington has made some deep ball sweet music as well, and he gets the Cardinals. I'll do some Raheem Mostert film in a moment as well, and Patrick Laird makes the list because of Kalen Ballage's injury as of my recording this. Don't know how serious that injury is. Don't really expect him to play next week. I'm not excited about any Dolphins running back, and Myles Gaskin could also be in the mix, so you'd have to be relatively desperate. Okay, when we come back, we will dig into Thompson and Mostert. Maybe it's time for a gift to yourself, the gift of an Audible membership. For a limited time, Audible is offering more than half off your first 3 months. Every month you can choose 1 audiobook and 2 exclusive Audible originals. When you start your new account, they'll give you 1 audiobook, 2 Audible originals for free. And you know what? I have 4 novels that I wrote and read on Audible. If you make one of my books your free audiobook, then send me a screen capture, you should take me up on this. It's a good idea. You'll be a person of the book. We have a Sunday morning live stream, pretty small. You will get your lineup question answered as soon as this weekend for your playoff game. For free, visit audible.com/HarrisTube or text HarrisTube to 500-500. Take me up on this offer. It's a really good deal. Become a person of the book. Go to audible.com/HarrisTube or text HarrisTube to 500-500. All right, let's start talking about Darwin Thompson, whose ad ability is obviously more based on injuries to other players than what he's shown in his rookie year. But you can see speed. You can see a little bit of power here. Realize Thompson comes into the game at all because Darrell Williams gets hurt and the Chiefs are killing the Raiders in the fourth quarter. He's a little guy whose best case is find a crease, hit it hard, grind those strong legs. On this one, I like the adjustment, seeing a blitzer, number 25 there, adjusting and going right instead of left, making something out of a potential nothing. We don't have a lot of replays of these plays that we can pause for you because this game was pretty much over. But here's one with a replay. Thompson goes around the end, he breaks an arm tackle, doesn't get knocked off course, and then he hurdles over someone else and keeps going. Everything he did in garbage time here was 100 miles an hour. He's obviously really short. He's 5'8". He looks tiny, but his squats, his workouts are sort of the stuff of legend. He's not a weak player. Had a hard time finding the field in his rookie season of 2019 and really doesn't appear to be part of the Chiefs' plans, but now there might not be a lot of choice. All these plays we're showing you are from the same drive. It's nearly a 10-minute drive. Raiders did kind of seem to want to go home, and so it's a lot of very direct, tough running against a defense that, well, won't be as generous next week when the Chiefs visit New England. And then here's his touchdown, and you can see how much leg drive he really has. Not what you'd call a power back because there's no weight behind him, but if he can find a little crease and only sort of get grabbed onto and not thumped backwards, Thompson can drag some guys into the end zone, no question. A nice little moment for him to show something to Andy Reid. So Darwin Thompson is worth adding in a league where either you've been relying on a Chiefs running back or maybe where you're struggling for a last guy at that position, but it is probably entirely about whether Damian Williams can come back from his rib injury in time for Week 14. We're told Darrell Williams is likely out for this game, so if Damian is also out, well, it's Thompson and it's LaShawn McCoy. I'd probably rate McCoy higher, but Thompson would have a chance. There's always upside in any Kansas City running back. Okay, let's talk next about Raheem Mostert, who had a huge day against the Ravens. He began this game as Tevin Coleman's understudy and then quickly surpassed him with runs like this one. Now, this is a 40-yard touchdown run. We will take it. I want you to watch on the replay number 24, Marcus Peters studiously avoiding actually having to do something so crass as actually make contact with the running back. I mean, it's a good move by Mostert at the end. It's good. But a theme from this big statistical effort you're going to hear from me is that Raheem Mostert, is he more than just a guy? During the broadcast Sunday, they called him a former track star. And while that might be true, I wouldn't say that has translated yet on film. What I mostly have seen from him all year really is, gets what's blocked. This is an 8-yard gain. I think you'd put that mostly on. He's got a pretty easy time getting the edge. Ditto here, pitch left, 6 yards, adds to a nice yards per carry average, which of course I do not like as a statistic. Did he really need to do anything here? I think you'd probably say no. He didn't fall down. Here's a 19-yard gain, and we like 19-yard gains. And Tevin Coleman in this game was not giving us 19-yard gains. But when we show the replay here, I want you to tell me the special thing Raheem Mostert did. It's a huge hole for him to run through, and he doesn't really even need to cut when he gets to the second level. It's not a knock because the guy takes advantage of great blocking and not great defense, but I'm just pumping the brakes on track star. In the 2-minute drill, end of the first half, I just don't know, again, that Mostert is doing anything exceptional. He's got acres of space to get around the corner. This is a victory of line play and also receivers blocking downfield more than anything. I'm not kidding when I tell you basically every chunk gain during this rainstorm of a day, Mostert, he was the hot hand, so he got the ball, but he was just getting massive running lanes. I'm not a Tevin Coleman fan, but he could have made these plays as well, and most runners in the league could have made these plays. It doesn't mean Mostert's incapable of making plays when more is needed from him, but this great statistical performance was not a massive display of talent. The bottom line was 21 touches for 154 yards and a touchdown, while Tevin Coleman had 6 touches for 15 yards. I won't argue Mostert shouldn't be considered in the same neighborhood as Coleman for Week 14, but I can't say what I saw here means a ton going forward, especially since we hear that Matt Breida is likely to play Week 14 against the Saints. I think Mostert is a deeper league add who's fine, but I would be hedging wildly among all three San Francisco running backs for this upcoming week. Now, if Mostert does it again, if the Niners prove they're going to use him as a primary back again in New Orleans, then we'll be glad we added him, and then we can talk about using him Week 15 against the Falcons. Thanks so much for watching. Please, please, please smash that like button, write a comment, tell us who else you'd like to see us review film on, and of course, best of all, please subscribe to our channel and then click that little bell above the subscribe button and you'll be notified whenever we post a new video.